The Art and Industry of Business and Living podcast, discussing conscious choices around business, money, life and living, and creating a greater future for you and the planet. Hey everybody, welcome to the Art and Industry of Business and Living. You are with your host, Simone Milasas, and you're with a very, very good friend of mine who has been many things to me throughout my life that I've known him, Mr. Brendon Watt.
Hello, Simone.
Hello, Brendon. So we are here to talk today about relationship. Are you sure you want one?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. So we have a book coming out called Relationship, Are You Sure You Want One? And we actually have an official launch on the 8th of February in Houston, Texas, during the foundation class, which Gary and Dane are going to. So this will be live streamed. So anyone, any man and his dog, family, friends, foe, can actually come to our book launch. Yep. Absolutely. So I've got a few questions here from our PR agent.
Okay, let's do that.
The lovely Miss Justine. So the first question...
Miss Justine, who definitely knows she needs a relationship.
Oh,
don't tell her I said that.
Oh, dear. So the first question here is, why is the title of the book called Relationship, Are You Sure You Want One?
Because it's funny.
Yeah. And literally, do you know what? When we were looking at this and writing these books, like we started using the tools of access consciousness to create our relationship. We were in relationship for 8 years, and it's been 8 amazing, joyful, awesome years. And then probably about 3-4 months ago, we chose to not be in a relationship, and we still use the tools to uncreate our relationship.
Yeah.
So one of the things...
Well, we still have a relationship, but it looks completely different.
Yeah, we're not like shagging and getting naked and living in the same house.
Yeah.
I must say, you know what? Sleeping in bed at the moment, I'm waking up all over the place. I have learnt to starfish. Yeah, I've learnt to starfish in bed, that's for sure. I wake up going, wow, how did Brendon ever fit in here? So I'm like all over the place. So, but one of the things that we have used is the tools of access consciousness to create the relationship we did create and still continue to create, as Brendon pointed out. So we put it into a book, and then we went, all right, what are we going to call it? And Brendon actually came up with the name.
Well, I came up with it one... I think you guys asked me, what should we call the book? And I just pondered for a moment, and I was like, relationship, are you sure you want one? Because for me, growing up, everyone said you need a relationship. Relationship was the be-all and end-all of fitting in to this world. And I never got it. I never understood it, still never understand it. So that's why I called it that, because I think it's funny.
Yeah, and when he said it, I thought it was funny too. And interesting you should say that too, Brendon, because I grew up with thinking I never wanted a relationship, but it wasn't based on choice. It was based on refusal, like the necessity to never have a relationship. So one of the things Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, actually got me to look at was there wasn't much choice in that. So literally the day that I went, okay, I've got to be willing to, receive someone showing up in my life, blah, blah, blah. Brendon actually showed up that day, that night.
Poor you.
Poor me. No, I've had a great time. It's been awesome. And I'm still continuing to have a great time. And we're just at the moment creating pretty much copy for our second book, I would say.
Yep.
So the next question, she's actually asking about what topics does the book cover?
Oh, it covers everything from getting in a relationship with somebody else to probably not being in a relationship with somebody else to having a relationship with yourself, to the elements of having a relationship with yourself, to the different ways to commit to somebody else you have to commit to yourself. I could go on for an hour about what the book covers, but... And
we talk about money, we talk about sex in relationships, we talk about it all. We were pretty much like, let's lay it down, because we don't have anything to hide, and I get, and I'm pretty sure Brendon gets too, that it's like the place where we are willing to be vulnerable and talk about it and look at it is an invitation to other people to choose something greater. And that's the demand we have in our world, is that all of you have the capacity to choose something greater.
I love the chapter titles. Who came up with those?
Oh my goodness, I think it was you, Brendon.
They're awesome.
Exactly. I like that one. It's not your child's job to make you happy.
Yeah. Don't tell them anything about that.
All right, we won't tell them anything about that.
You gotta read the book.
Okay, so the next question she asks us is, what do you see from a male and female point of view are the biggest mistakes people make?
Well, You can start with that one.
All right. Well, so I'm going to start as a female. Please, ladies, do not get into a relationship thinking that you're going to change the other person. What if you were grateful for who they be the moment you met them? And it's like, and that's what you encourage them to be, is to be them and to be nothing else but being them, no matter what that looks like and no matter what that shows up like. I mean, one of the things Brendon and I always said that, you know, the day that we woke up and went, okay, so is this working for us? And we got a no, we would choose no. And we would celebrate each other and say, okay, you know, let's drink some champagne and say thank you and move on. Now, I'm going to say it hasn't been as easy as that, just like, you know, oh, look, we all smiled and laughed and went, move on. Mm-hmm. There's definitely been some, you know, harder moments, but we've got through them. And and you've got to honour the person that you choose to be with. You've got to honour the person that you choose to hang out with. And whether it's someone you're choosing, you know, to copulate with or just be friends with or work with, it includes everyone. Don't expect and project something of somebody else. It's like, allow them to be them.
Yeah, I think that's good.
You don't want to get into trouble with the ladies?
I don't want to get into trouble with the ladies. But it's like, one of the things we do mention in the book is women do sex in order to get relationship, men do relationship in order to get sex. And that's not, a lot of the things we talk about in this book are not exactly how everybody functions, but it's how we've seen people function in this world when it comes to relationship. So I would highly recommend, if reading this book, is you put your walls down to it and you actually be honest with yourself, with the places that you are choosing, the things that are limiting you and the places where you're choosing them from, because that's the only way you can change them. Yeah.
And relationship is different for every single one of you. It's like, we didn't have it right. We never got it right. We're not getting it right today. But what we do
I was
have...
perfect.
Sorry, I forgot. He's perfect.
Yeah, he's perfect.
But what we do have is the ability to ask questions and to choose and to enjoy the ride. I mean, really, seriously, enjoy the ride. Enjoy every single moment of it.
Mm-hmm. You might get hit by a bus tomorrow. Who knows?
Exactly. Who knows?
I mean, I know if I'm dying, though, I'm not getting hit by a bus.
We should ask who.
Yeah.
Yeah, because who knows a lot.
Yeah, who does know a lot?
So the next question is, if you are single and really want a relationship and have tried everything, what can you suggest?
Ask yourself, do you actually want a relationship?
And you're going to hate that.
You're going to hate a lot of things in this book. But if you want to get freedom from it, you got to look at the things you hate just as much as the things you love, because the things you hate are the things that you will keep creating in your life. And trust me, I know this from experience. It's the things you hate you will keep creating. So you got to look at those things when they come up and you go, I don't want to listen to that because I really want a relationship. And I've been saying I want a relationship. Yet, okay, do you actually want one? That's where I would start.
Yeah, if you don't have one, you probably don't want one. And I know that you go, yes, but I do.
And the other thing with that is as well, if you're looking for a relationship, let's say you're a female and you're looking for a man and you want a tall man with a full head of hair, and you want him to have money, and you want him to dress well, and you want him to be good in bed, and you've got all of these pieces to an image that you've created based on whatever that is for you. If he doesn't match one of those things, you will not see him and you will never find him. So the relationship you're looking for is with some myth that's out there of this perfect man that will never show up because he will never meet the criteria you've decided he needs to be in order to have you.
Which he doesn't meet the judgments that you have. And I actually talk about that in the first chapter of the book. Is what I was always looking for was a man who judged me and my body, because if I found that, then it matched the judgments I had of me. And when I met Brendon, it's like he had no judgment of me.
I smoked, I drank, I snored, I didn't have any money, I had a child, I had a dog, I had no house. I was a catch.
But actually, you had no judgment of me and you had no judgment of my body. So, yeah, you actually were a catch.
Yeah.
And it's like, but they're the two things that I was not attracted to Brendon at first because he didn't judge me. So how many of you are looking for judgment? Someone to match the judgments you have of yourself, rather than actually ask for someone to show up in your life that sees you, that's willing to receive you. So for me, that was just like, what? Receive someone who's kind, caring, and nurturing and doesn't expect anything of me. It's like, that was a totally different reality for me. And we do talk about that a lot in the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, this one's for you, Brendon.
Oh, yay.
How do you express yourself in the bedroom?
I'm not answering that.
Justine,
Justine
really?
Look, in the bedroom should be about having fun. Full stop. Period. Having fun. That's it. It shouldn't be about how long it lasts, what moves you do, all this stuff. It's like sex should be about it should be like a game of frisbee. You want to play? That's it. But people make it into this significant way of
meaningful,
but to maintain a relationship based on that sex is the way that you connect with another person, and it's not. It's one element.
And it's just copulation. Copulation is just copulation. And one of the things that Brendon actually taught me, and I'm pretty sure we talk about this in the book as well, he said to me one day, how many times do two people have sex when both of them desire it? Usually one person is having it to please the other. So what if you actually started copulating and having sex in the bedroom when two people are actually, into it and wanting to enjoy it and are grateful for each other? And I've got a line that a friend of mine used on me years and years and years and years ago was, do you want to get naked and play? And pretty much what Brendon was saying, that's what it should be about. It should just be about this sense of play, not that you've got to get it right. You do not have to get it right in the bedroom. You are not wrong for anything that you desire, okay?
How do you get it right anyway?
Boom.
That's a total head screw right there. I'm going to get sex right today.
You get it right when you have a child.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a topic for another podcast.
Yeah, that's another book.
So the next question is, if your relationship has gone stale, any tips?
Oh, Jesus. Who wrote these? Let me guess. Look.
We're silent.
We're silent because it can be, that's a big topic. That's a big topic. But you got to start looking at, if your relationship's gone stale, have you stopped creating it? And if you've stopped creating it, then you've decided that being in relationship means relationship is now you have chosen it, so you don't have to create it. Relationship is a choice in every moment, and if your relationship's gone stale, you got to look at, okay, how would I create this today if I was creating this relationship?
And it should be a constant creation.
It should be. If you're not creating it every day, why are you in it?
Which means that you should be asking questions constantly as well. I mean, a lot of the times, what we talk about in Access Consciousness is 3 ways to create a conscious relationship. So 3 ways, and that's all you require, is 1 is that you're good in bed. 1 is that you're good in bed. 2 is that you let the other person do whatever the hell they want. And 3 is they contribute monetarily, but I want to say that's not so cut and dry. It's not so linear. Like, for a long time, say with the house we built, we did major renovations. I was the one that was creating the money, like the cash to pay for it. But Brendon was the one designing it, dealing with the builders, actually getting on his hands and knees and putting the tiles in and doing everything. So that was a contribution monetarily. So good in bed, if you can tick that box, yes. It's like they let you do whatever the hell you want. And number 3,
I'm just reading the questions.
Contribute monetarily.
I'm seeing what's coming next. Get prepared.
Get prepared.
Yeah.
You can't get prepared for a relationship. You can never be prepared.
Yeah.
You literally cannot be prepared. You've got to be willing for anything to show up.
You can't get prepared for life.
No. Well, actually, how many people do relationship so that they can create a predictable future?
99% of them.
Which is really strange, because one of the things when we, quote unquote, broke up, that's one of the things I realized was, I was like, oh my God, but now I don't have a predictable future. Whereas, I'm sorry, if you've met Brendon and met me,
good luck.
There's no predictability in there anyway. But somewhere I had defined that there was a sense of predictable future. So how many of you are creating a predictable future rather than actually creating your life from question, from choice, from possibilities, which allows anything and everything to show up? You don't make it that it has to be one certain thing. Okay, so the next question is, how do you have conversations without charge? Actually, someone in a class I did recently said to me, well, what do I do? It was a male, and he said, and his wife was in the class, and he goes, yeah, but what do I do when she's wrong? And I was like, oh no.
She's
never
she's
wrong.
Never wrong for starters. And if you're looking for, to have no charge in a conversation, you've got to have no projection or expectation of the outcome, because as soon as you have a projection or expectation of the outcome, you've already decided where the conversation needs to head. Therefore, the charge comes up when something doesn't match where you've decided the conversation needs to go.
So, and the rest of her question is...
I'm so mean to these people.
It's how do you have conversations without charge? If someone is doing something really annoying or is bothering you, how do you effectively communicate? So, in the book, we have this tool, and this is something that I did one day when I was really annoyed at Brendon, and I do not even remember to this day what it was about. It was probably something so menial, but I was making it really significant. And I went across. We lived across the road from the beach, so I went across the road to the beach to try and calm down. And Gary Douglas, our friend and founder of Access, rang me, and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, rah, 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 and complaining about what was going on. He said, "Okay." He said, "Do you want me to tell you what to do?" And usually when he says that, I'm like, yes, no, yes, I'm going to hate it, but I'm going to use it. And that's pretty much what our book is about. You will hate a lot of the tools, but they work. And he said, "You need to go home and you need to make everything about Brendon." And I was like, what? Make everything about Brendon? I don't want to make it about Brendon. I want it to be about me.
He's an asshole. It should be about me right now.
And he's like, "Trust me, you need to go home and make it all about Brendon." So all the other tools I had used had worked. So I went home and I walked in the house and I started making everything about him. Now, I have had people say to me, "How did you do that?" And it's like, well, it's like you're directing energy at them and acknowledging them for who they be and asking him questions about, his day or whatever is going on, or just putting energy around him rather than pulling energy and being about me. And I'm not kidding, within about 10 minutes, Brendon looked at me and he goes, "Can I make you a drink? Can I get you a Bloody Mary? What would you like me to cook you for dinner tonight?" And I was sitting on the couch going, holy shit, this stuff really works. I was like, this is amazing. So that is one way you do it. Never try to make your partner wrong, because they're not wrong. And it's like another great tool that we use in Access Consciousness is saying, so Brendon and I were like having a moment where it was just like frustration. It's like, "You know what, Brendon? You're right. I'm wrong. You're right. I'm wrong.
Thanks.
You're right. I'm wrong."
We got that on recording, right?
Yeah, we got that on recording.
Let's cut that bit out. I'll have it as my ringtone.
"You're right. I'm wrong."
Yeah.
And it's like, look at the energy of it and use it. Do it with like your mother, your father, your lover, your kids, anyone. It's like
Yourself,
yeah. "You're right. I'm wrong." And it's like, it'll change the energy, because it's not about right and wrong. It's like, it's about creating a different reality, a reality beyond this reality. So play with that tool, but it's a good one. Okay, so next question is, what would you say are the keys to a really good relationship?
read this book.
Yeah, read the book.
That's too much to...
And don't define what relationship is either. At the moment, Brendon and I are creating a unique relationship. It's like, we're not living together. We're not, separated and hating each other. We're creating something unique. So it's still a relationship. So it's like, what works for you? You've got to look at what works for you. Choose what you would like, not based on somebody else's reality. I see so many people that start to, cut off, themselves, their arms, their legs, their choices, their everything, their possibilities based on trying to make somebody else happy. You can't make anyone else happy. You choose to be happy. That's how it works. And then the last question is, in a nutshell, I like the way people say that. Why in a nutshell? How is it in a nutshell? Does that mean that nothing's going to come out? It means you've got to crack it? Like, what is that saying? In a nutshell.
I'm going to have to Google it.
So in a nutshell, the book is about any sort of relationship that you want to create. But we do get down and dirty and talk about our relationship that we did have for 8 years, and also now what we're, uncreating it as well, and creating a different relationship, a friendship that I definitely see is going to be something that, would last a lifetime. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But at the moment, it's like, I'm willing to be incredibly vulnerable with Brendon and with myself in what we are creating together. So, but yeah, get the book.
That's a good nutshell.
Yeah. Relationship, Are You Sure You Want One? By Brendon Watt and Simone Milasas. And also, you can check out relationshipsdonedifferent.com, and there's going to be some classes showing up there that we'll be doing. We have done one that's available for sale on the accessconsciousness.com site.
Apparently it was really good.
Which was interesting, because before we did the class, we both looked at each other and said, okay, do we need to chat? And we were like, no, I think we're good. And then I said, you know what? I might get up on stage and cry. I don't know. And he was like, I might too. We don't know. We had no idea what was going to occur, and yet it was amazing. It was amazing to actually be facilitating with you, Brendon. Yeah. And I really look forward to facilitating with you in the future as well.
Me
We've
too.
got we've got a class in, so far we've got one in Noosa in April live streamed, a 3-day class, and one in Mexico that'll be in June live streamed.
Yeah.
So with the real telenovelas.
Oh yeah,
It's going to be interesting.
Warm them up.
Yeah, Brendon is doing an intro night there in Mexico. So check out accessconsciousness.com, Relationships Done Different. And Brendon, you have many classes coming up. So
I do.
where can people find you?
BrendonWatt.com.
So, and it's BRENDON what.com. And he's also on accessconsciousness.com. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you
Art
for having
Industry of
me.
Business and Living. And we look forward to seeing you guys somewhere in the world. Catch us if you can. Bye.
Bye.